Hey, what's up folks, Jesse here from JP Modified. This week we're not going to feature any build, but we're going to do a tutorial video on some basic mods that you can do yourself. Again, this channel is not to show you guys how good I am, but I want to show you guys how good you can be with with whatever inspiration or whatever techniques that you get. Now, a few months ago I released a video on how to make a power supply cover, and apparently that didn't work out too well because it was a series, so people missed some of the videos and probably couldn't catch on to what I was doing. So I'm going to do that again today, and some other things. All right, all in one video. Before we begin, I'd like to apologize for background noise. I'm at my shop right now. My shop is again right in the middle of my house. Well, anyways, this tutorial video will be to show you guys you don't really need to go crazy with anything or everything. All you need to keep in mind is to keep your own style or your own way of modding. And this video, I hope, will get you guys started to mod your own rigs. So what I have here is a GPU and a dead motherboard. So these things are what people are going to see in most of the builds. We're going to make a backplate for the GPU, which is going to answer a lot of questions I get on the channel on how I attach the backplate. We're also going to build a rear I/O shield. This board is a Maximus Ranger, one of the lower end motherboards from ROG, and it doesn't come with a backplate or an I/O shield like the others do. We're gonna make our own for this. Let's start with the most asked question. How do I attach the backplate to the GPU? A backplate is only gonna essentially cover the PCB area. You're gonna rarely or never going to see a backplate covering or passing the PCB area and being parallel to the heatsink shroud. So the backplate's only going to cover this area, the PCB. So first off, I hope you guys don't hate on my tailor's tape. I've been using this for years. You can use whatever you want. You can use your own tape measure or ruler. This is what I prefer to work with. You guys should measure the backplate from end to end. This is, by the way, an MSI GTX 970. But then again, whatever cards you have, it'll have different measurements. So this is the length of the card. It's 10.1 inches. Next, you measure from this area here, and it is exactly 4 inches wide. I'm gonna set that aside. This is acrylic. Okay, it looks like cardboard, but inside it is a plastic transparent thingy, as some of you called it. We're gonna use this, and we're going to copy the measurements we got on the video card, which is 10.1, and across is 4 inches. I'm going to use angle ruler to make sure it'll be straight. So align this edge here, draw a line. That's for the length. This one is for the width. So this is going to be the backplate, this area. What I use to cut acrylic is this. Used to be a kitchen knife. I think this was a butter knife or something. I used the grinder to make this sharp edge. So this is what I use to cut straight lines. So you get that angle ruler, align it straight to the line and score. Okay. After a few scores, you won't need to use the ruler anymore. You can just let the knife cut through your initial score line. You do this several times. I don't know if the camera can catch this, but you will see how deep the score went. You can see from the edge how deep you've cut. So if you've cut, let's say, probably around 1/8 of a way or something, you know that this will be soft enough to just pry. So you put both your fingers at the edge, okay, snap. That's all you need to do. And there you have it, straight cut. You do the same to cut the length. All you need to do, just score it several times. And you see how deep you've cut. If you've touched halfway, it means that you can just snap it off. See? There you have it. Clean cut. Now, if you want to cut out an area here, you would need a Dremel moto saw or a scroll saw for more accurate cuts on this area. But I'm going to try to do this generally for everyone who doesn't have moto saw. And this is how the back plate will be fixed on your card. So it's a perfect fit. After that is you peel the protective paper off from your acrylic, and you have a clean piece of acrylic. So you're gonna notice that when you cut, there's gonna be uneven edges here. Now you're gonna file it down with this. This is an 80 grit sandpaper I glued on a piece of acrylic. Alright, what I used to do is put it on a popsicle stick. And this one I found to work better because it doesn't break as easy as a popsicle stick. So what you do is you just file away the uneven area. Alright, so once you've evened out this edge, you're going to get some lubricant. What I use is WD-40. I spray it on the file that I made and I sand away lengthwise. A lot of people want to flame polish this, but it won't make sense because you're going to paint over this anyway. So what you want to do is you want to make this an even surface. You're not going to see the cut marks or the file marks. So wipe it off. You will see that there's a very clean edge. You make sure you do that on all sides depending on what you want, but I usually only do it on this side because this is the side that's going to be seen when you put it on top. So, piece of acrylic, you have made your backplate. Now you can put or paint whatever color you want here. You can put decals on this, any design you like. We're not going to cover that because we're going to try to be creative. So I want you guys to come up with your own design for the backplate. Alright, so essentially this is how it's gonna look. Now, the question I'm always asked is how do you attach it to this without the screws? Now, yes, I do know that screws are better, but again, it would depend on your graphics card. Let's say this, for example. If you were to put a screw here, it would hit your heatsink. So there's virtually not a way to mount this using screws unless you remove the heatsink. I hope you guys don't try to overestimate your computers. Remember, your computers are just gonna sit still on top of your desk. So unless you do ship your computer every single day, then it's gonna be a problem. However, since your computer is going to stay there, this is not going to be an issue. This is the cheaper adhesive that I use. The only reason why I'm using this is because this is just an example. But for client builds, I use this, which is a much stronger tape. So all you do first is you cut out a really small section. Cut it out into cubes, okay, small squares that you put on top of the 4 heatsink screws, just like that. If you notice that there's going to be a warranty sticker here in this area, so I would strongly suggest you don't put the double-sided tape on this area here. Probably go find another place to stick it on, so you don't put tape on that. We don't want to have you guys ruin all your chances of an RMA just in case your graphics card breaks. Well, not because of the backplate, but you know, for other reasons. Okay, so what you do is you lay your sticky tape somewhere next to it. And this time you do a double layer, just like that. So that's it. Now don't put any double-sided on the solders or the chips here. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't want you guys to find out in a bad way. What you do is remove the paper film and then slowly position it on top of your GPU, just like that. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look without paint. Now see, I'm holding the backplate itself. See? It's not gonna fall off. So you really don't have to worry about it falling off out of normal use. It's just gonna stay there. See? I can pick it up just using the backplate. So it's still strong. And this is a cheaper double-sided tape. Imagine if I used this stronger one. So again, you guys feel free to paint this whatever color you want, put in whatever decals you want, and then you got yourself an awesome looking video card with a backplate. So let's set that aside. Alright, so here we have a bare motherboard. It has an old i5 processor here that I haven't been using. We're going to cover how to make a I/O shield to hide this area here. Now it's okay for this board technically because it has, you know, this fancy heatsink over here that covers the MOSFET. But some boards don't have this, especially the lower end ones. So I'm going to show you guys how to cover this area here with your own custom rear I/O cover. You measure the longest block, which is usually the USB or the LAN port. This is about 1.1 inches. And you start from here, or you can cover this whole area. Usually I just cover from this area right here because you might want to put a sound card in this area, and then if there's another piece of acrylic that's blocking this area, it might be hard to access this area right here. So what I'm going to do is just cover this section here and here. You start from that area and fold up until, you don't have to go fully. Remember, this is just a cover, so this is 7 inches. So we're gonna grab the extra piece of acrylic we had from the backplate. We're going to measure first the width, which is 1.1, and the length, which is 7 inches. Get your L ruler. You guys get one of these, or a T-square. This is going to really help you guys keep your measurements straight, or your cuts straight. Right, so draw a line all the way across so you can cut just that whole section here. Get your scoring knife. You score lightly at first so you don't have a problem losing control of the blade. First few scores are really light. You start to go deeper as you move forward. Yeah, there's a double meaning on that, but I apologize if that kind of sounds harsh or painful to the ears to listen to, the squeaky sound, but this is a long cut, so I want you guys to be extra careful and cut. Here it is. The IO shield was 7 inches. So normally with cuts like this, I just feed it through the Dremel moto saw, but since again not everyone's gonna have a Dremel moto saw around, I'm gonna show you how to cut it the more primal way. Okay, so that's it. All right, so this is gonna be part of the IO shield that you have, and you measure. Now, you guys flip the motherboard around, and you guys mark the area on where you're gonna bend, which is here, which is this area. Get your ruler again and make a line here, and then this time you score just probably 2 lines on it. Again, all you need to do is just file this area here. File it with sandpaper. It gets you better results than using a metal file, although the metal file will work as fine, but if you use a metal file, the cuts will be too deep. Sandpaper, 180 grit is the way to go, for me at least. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this same ruler. You can, probably grab a piece of wood and attach it, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna use this metal ruler. So what you do is you align the score mark that you left, okay, to that area, because that's where you're gonna bend. Normally I would use my acrylic bender, but I want to show you guys how to do it without the special tools. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to attach this clamp. So take note that the line that you cut, or the scoring line, is going to be where you bend against. So you don't want to bend this way because you're going to show the cut. So you bend forward, or you bend towards the cut. So this place here is where there's no slice. Now here's a heat gun. I set it at maximum heat, and I just heat that area there. Okay, back and forth. You don't want to get it too hot because you don't want it to warp. Okay, and then get that area and just bend, just like that, on the flat surface. So here's the bend. Now you get more efficient results if you use the bender, but then not a lot of you guys will have an acrylic bender available, so you can just use a heat gun. This is the first part. It warped a little here because the heat gun got a little too hot, but you don't have to worry because the only reason why this is here is so you have something to attach the double-sided adhesive tape to. What's important is you keep this one clean. This is where the designs and the decals go. So you get your IO cover, slap it on, and see. Next, we're gonna cover this area here. So we're gonna get another piece of acrylic, and we're gonna measure the other piece. Alright, so here's a cut piece of acrylic. I'm gonna peel off the protective paper, and then sand it down, as you would. After you've sanded it down, you put it inside. You get your super glue, just small dabs at a time, okay? Because it'll be harder for you to control if you go overly generous with the glue. And then you attach it one side at a time, making sure it aligns properly. Okay, hold on to it for a few seconds, and then you basically just super glue the rest of the area right there. Once it dries, you wipe out the excess, and then that's it. There you go. And you have your I/O panel. Now, I would have used acrylic cement or chloroform, but unfortunately I don't have that, and not everyone else is going to have that. But super glue, on the other hand, you can just go to the nearest store and just get it. Now, this heatsink is actually going to get in the way of closing in. So, for the purpose of example, I'm going to remove it because I think mostly the Asus boards are the ones with, you know, funky shapes. But if you do have this kind of board, all you need to do is just cut around it. But then you would need to use a moto saw or Dremel. So here it is. This is a dead motherboard, so don't really freak out. And so, see, there you go. So for areas that do not level up like this one, because you're gonna see that there are gonna be different sizes of the blocks here, of the IOs, you're gonna have to compensate that by using double-sided sticky tape. Just put double here and just one layer here, 2 layers here, just so it'll sit even. I'm gonna show you guys what I mean, just in case you didn't get it. So on this area here, I'm gonna use 2 instead of 1. This area, I'm gonna use just 1. Double check if it's leveled. You need 1 more. Now this is messy. I'm just doing this for the sake of the video. You guys can cut it a little bit more cleaner than I'm cutting it right now. I just want to show you guys what needs to be done. Coincidentally, I had this stencil cut out. I want you guys to, you know, be creative. Alright? Now I don't want you guys to do exactly what I'm doing. So feel free to use your own imagination. Alright, so the stencil is on. This sticker was cut out by a silhouette portrait sticker cutter. Alright, so we painted the back red and painted this area here black. I didn't go crazy and be extra careful with the painting on this. Again, this is just to show you guys what I do. Now after you've painted it, you remove the stencil. Now, you're going to notice there's going to be some residue, some of the adhesive that's going to be left from the vinyl or the sticker paper. Again, you get your WD-40, spray it on a rag, and then just wipe them away. Just wipe it off until it's gone. All you need to do again is use the double-sided tape. You have an IO shield. You're free to put in whatever you want. Now again, I'd like to reiterate that I removed this heatsink so I would be able to fit this in as an example. So I didn't remove it so everyone else could remove it or should remove it. I just removed it because this motherboard specifically would get in the way of the IO shield. This tutorial is for people who have motherboards that don't have this kind or this big size MOSFET heatsinks. So there you go. That's basically it. Okay, you've had yourself a really simple mod, but it's going to be eye-catching. And what you guys can also do is put LEDs behind this area here so that you could illuminate your logo. So this and a custom GPU backplate, and you got yourself a pretty simple mod. It's eye-catching, it's very custom. You're free to put in whatever designs you want according to whatever theme you want. You can put a different name here, designs without text, your email address, or other things, you know. You can also do the same with your backplate. So that's going to be series 1. Alright, that's it. 2 quick, very easy mods that you can do on your own without the need of any professional help. Of course, it's still up to you. If you want a more professional approach or something, yeah, you can always, you know, come to people like us and other modders near your area. However, if you want to start learning and modding yourself, and that's basically it, you know, one of the easiest ways to start with your mod. Now, regarding the backplate, I know you guys are going to say, what about screws? You can do screws. Yes, I agree. You know, screws do look a little bit more professional. However, that's not what we're here for. We're not here to become professionals yet. Again, we're taking baby steps. We're going to try to make more advanced techniques as we progress with this channel. So again, I apologize for all the background noise. Next video will be series 1 on Liberty. I'm going to try to finish that build in about, let's say, probably around 10 days. Okay, because it's scheduled to leave for Las Vegas on December 15th. We're going to do a 2-part series on that. Thank you all for all your support. Continue to throw in those questions. Even though I don't reply to most of them, I do see them and I do put them or write them down. And I promise I'll get back to them when I get a chance. Alright? JP Modified here. Until the next video, Mudun!